So thank you again for being here in time. So now we're going to our the second part of the day this afternoon. So we're going to do a short exercise to connect you with your incompletions and your experience in your life. So I'm going to ask you to put away all of your material, to relax, get comfortable in your chair, and whenever you feel ready, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let it out. And as you do that, connect it to yourself. Feel your feet grounded on the floor, and continue taking a deep breath in and let it out. Recall when you were born. Recall when you were born. Recall when you were between the age of 3 and 5. Recall when you were between the age of 3 and 5. What did you see? What did you see? Recall when you were between the ages of 6 and 9. Recall when you were between the ages of 6 and 9. What happened to you? What happened to you? Recall when you were between the ages of 10 and 13. Recall when you were between the ages of 10 and 13. What did you say about yourself? What did you say about yourself? With whom or what were you angry or resentful? With whom or what were you angry or resentful with? Recall when you were between the ages of 16 and 18. Recall when you were between the ages of 16 and 18. What has already happened to you? What has already happened to you? Recall your whole life. Recall your whole life. What did you want to be that hasn't worked out? What did you want to be that hasn't worked out? So recall your whole life. What did you want to be that you denied yourself or others denied you? What did you want to be that you denied yourself or others denied you? Slowly, I will ask you to come back. As you do that, take a deep breath in, start rubbing your hands together. And whenever you're ready, put those hands on your cheeks. And then start opening up your eyes. And as everybody started opening up their eyes, I'm asking you to continue breathing. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Stop. Okay, thank you everyone for participating to this beautiful exercise. Now we're going to go to the second part of our afternoon. So this morning when we're doing the 16 questions, or when we're doing this imagery exercise, something may have come up, and then we're gonna give you the opportunity to write about it. So in the next few minutes, we will do an exercise called writing up your story. So this exercise, it's actually to honor your life, okay? We're going to ask you first thing to start writing as it is. It all begins in 19 something, or there was people in 2000 something, right? So the first sentence, it all began in, and you write down the year. So as you write your story, as I say, it's truly for you to honor your life. We're going to ask you to write your story in full sentence, okay? So it is about yourself, nothing else. It doesn't have to be in chronological order. You can start when you're 20, in 19 things, go when you're 20, come back when you're a child. It's very much up to you. What we ask you to do is, if anything comes up in terms of your emotions, feels like crying, take a moment, be present, and continue writing. It is very important that you continue doing that and that you don't stop. We ask you to write particularly about your incompletions. So when you were doing the 16 questions, you already some of those areas that you have incompletion, or some of the events, some of the people. So we ask yourself to reflect into that, right? What is some of the hook that you are present to? So we're gonna give you approximately 45 minutes to do so. So after you're done writing the story, you will have a chance to read the story to someone, to a partner that you're going to do. So you don't have to choose a partner, the person you're gonna read the story to right now, but we just want you to be aware that you're gonna have to read your story. But then we hope that the reading part is not going to be a space where you retain yourselves, right? As again, this is a moment to truly be connected to the 7 Grandfather teaching, to connect it to the truth, respect, and be honest with yourself in that sense. So we're gonna go, so write down your story, start doing it, and then we will have approximately 45 minutes. And then after, I will ask you to come back and we go to break, and I will give you a little bit more instructions in the reading story exercise. But just be aware that you will be put in paired. Okay? Any questions, comments before we go to write the story? No? Okay, perfect. Let's go.
Go.
So I will ask everyone to come back to, we're gonna take approximately 15 minutes break, and then we'll come back to the next sessions. Break. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming back from our break. So now the next part of our writing the story is the reading exercise. So for those who don't have a partner, please choose one. You don't have a partner. Yes, we're in her. Oh yeah, Rochelle, one of our trainers, can read a story if you can be a partner. Perfect. So now that everybody are in pair, let me give you the instructions before you go and do the exercise. So the first thing is, I'm going to ask you to sit knee to knee, so give us a little bit of space, but it's be close enough to be able for the other person to listen to the story. So when the time will come, you will grab your chair and then you will go in this room or outside, and then begin the exercise. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is choose the person who will start reading. So let's say the person who's going to start reading is going to be person A. Okay. And the person who's going to listen is going to be person B. So what's going to happen is the person A is going to start reading exactly, and I really want to emphasize on exactly what's writing in your book. Don't add anything, don't omit anything else, okay? If the emotions comes up, again, just be present and continue speaking up through them, okay? Once A is finished, we will change that up. But if you ask your questions, so the person who's listening, person B, what are they going to do? All you're going to do is put your book on the side, on the floor, and just listen. Listen, don't ask questions, don't make any comments, and we ask you not to touch the person if the emotions comes up. This is truly for the person who's reading their story. They're sharing you a gift with you, so we want you to receive it without having any comments, any questions, and to just be present, okay? So when the person A who started reading their story is done, they're now gonna put their book on the floor, and the person B who listens gonna pick up their book and gonna start now reading their story. And then again, same process, the person who's listening, just listen and get the gift that they're receiving. It's all about the person who's reading their story. So you're gonna go through to this circle 3 times, okay? So each person should have read 3 times their story. And as you do that, after you have done your 3 round of reading, I will ask you to please call upon myself or one of the trainer, and then we will explain to you the next steps. Okay? Any questions, comments? No? Perfect. So grab your chair and then go in your pair and start reading the story. Reading.
We're reading.
I know. Now instruction to each pair because they're gonna call us. So, Rochelle and Hillary.
Okay.
Now that you have done reading, we're going to ask you, the same person who started, you're gonna start back again reading your story. And what you're going to do is, as you read your story, please circle what is an incomplete section, event, or whatever sentence that you have. Circle it and continue reading and keep circling what's incomplete. And what you mean by incomplete for us is anything that is hooked for you, that still have emotions. Okay? So when the person is gonna do that, as they read, they circle it, you go through, the next person will do the same. After you have done this first round, for the second and the third, we're going to ask you to only read what you have circled, so what is incomplete for you. It doesn't have to make sense, just read what you have circled. Sounds good? Okay, perfect. Go for it. Okay. So now that everybody has read their story, I will ask you to come back in the larger group, in the circle, so please come back again. So what was your experience writing your story about your incompletion? You go around, yes, yeah, whoop, yeah. Mm-hmm. How did it feel to read your story to someone else, Rochelle? And Hillary, you were with Rochelle. What was your experience to just listen to her story? Go around, do. What else have they noticed? Bum. What was the experience of scratching it? Blah, 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 as we read. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for sharing your experience. So now we're gonna go do one last exercise. I'm gonna ask you again to pick up your book, and I'm gonna ask you to answer 2 questions, okay? So the first question is, what conversation am I always having with myself? What conversation am I always having with myself? So connect yourself to your story, to those 16 questions. And the second question is, what am I always listening for? What am I always listening for? Okay, so I will give you a few minutes to answer those questions. And then whenever you're done, let us know, and then we're gonna go around and share the answer. Okay, so who would like to share the answers of what conversation they're always having themselves, and then what are you listening for? Okay, we go around, and then okay, maybe we will continue in circle this way. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. So now we're going to go to some of the assignments. So this morning we all talked about how this workshop is an experiential workshop, right? That is connected, and there is some of the pieces that we want you to bring back home so you can practice them truly in your life. So we have a homework for you, and the homework is for you, it's to choose 2 people who have passed away. What we're going to ask you to do is to write a letter, like a paragraph, to each of the person, and then say what you have never got to say to them when they were alive. And then we're going to ask you to write it as if you were speaking to them directly. And when you do that, we ask you, as we connected this morning to responsibility, without judging, without judgment or blame, right? Just truly say what you have never said to them when they were alive. And it is not about making them wrong or making yourself wrong. So 2 people, and each of them will have 1 paragraph about the statement that you want to say to them. So with that, is there any questions? Yes? Okay, so maybe I will read you one of my examples so that way you can understand a little bit better in that, right? So for me personally, I choose my best friend who died last year. So, Kenun, Moshu, it's been a year since you left, Kenun, and not a day goes without feeling the weight of your absence. I wish I have said those words when you were here. I love you. Thank you for always being my pillar of strength, for urging me to embrace my authentic self, and for nudging me to go beyond my comfort zone. As you already know better than anybody else, I love my cocoon. As I stand here today, I will always carry you and carry your spirit with me, knowing that you'll be proud of my journey and that you're also proud of me. I miss you so much. King K forever. So, as I was reading your example, it is all about what you want to say to that person, right? Without blaming, without making wrong. Questions. So what if I don't have anyone who passed away? So maybe it could be one person that you have not known about. Like, for example, one of my homework for myself, I read about my auntie that I have never had a connection with. I have never met her, but she was my mom's older sister, and then my mom has always talked about her. So I wrote a paragraph to her to talk about how grateful I am for her to have encouraged my mom to continue being who she is. So it's truly those people that you may have a connection with, and you write down a paragraph to them. And then also that will be your opportunity to those who have not finished answering those 16 questions to go back to 16 questions and answer it. And as I say, it's truly important that you do answer those 16 questions for us to be able to build up on those pieces tomorrow morning, okay? No questions? Perfect, so I'm gonna ask you to stand up, and then we're gonna do a closing ceremony as we did this morning with an opening ceremony. We're gonna close with a prayer, a statement, words of wisdoms, and then And then I will ask you to pick up your personal object that you have put it in our altar or a sacred area. And then, because this room is not secure, so you can bring them home and bring them back tomorrow. Okay. Thank you very much.